Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a first perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as you guys know, there are a lot of names in sports media that we all follow. There's some guys that I'm sure a lot of us like. There's some guys that some of us dislike. However, one of the people out there that I do like is Chris Broussard. I don't always agree with everything that he says. Chris Broussard is, he's worked at ESPN. He's now working at FS1. He's a LeBron guy, but he's one of the few LeBron guys that says that Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. But he does think that LeBron is better than Kobe. Now, interestingly enough, about, let me say, a month or two ago, I saw Chris Broussard get interviewed on Ticket TV's channel. And I was quite surprised to see that because it's rare that a personality that's within the industry, someone that's on television, is rare to see them kind of associate themselves with independent creators on YouTube. So what happened? About, I'll say, 24 to 48 hours ago. Essentially what happened was, on the channel called The Player's Choice, they have an amalgamation of personalities that come on there to talk about basketball. They have their own platforms, and essentially what they do is that they debate over basketball topics. They have a moderator, and they come up with interesting topics to go back and forth on. And apparently on a particular show that I didn't see, Lowe, or Legend of Winning, I'm assuming, had a pretty strong opinion about Kevin Durant that was then cut up in different clips. And I think this clip either went viral on Twitter or on TikTok or something like that. And essentially what happened was, Kevin Durant, who surfs the internet, I think he picked up on that clip. And then KD started to respond to that clip. And then ultimately, I think Lowe, Legend of Winning, created I think it's a Twitter group where you can go and talk. Like, you can have conversations where different people can talk. And apparently Kevin Durant joined that group, and they were kind of going back and forth. And then that conversation between them was kind of cut up in various ways to make it look like KD was basically overwhelming Lowe in the conversation. Good. So you kind of understand the backstory. I may have missed one or two details, but that's not really the point here. So what happened? They had that back and forth, and then other media outlets picked up on this conversation, or picked up on this particular story. Now, here's what usually happens. Big media has this habit of acting like as if independent creators, people on YouTube, they act like they don't exist. So generally what happens is they don't acknowledge them. They don't give them any credit for anything they create. And I think they basically siphon them off and say that these guys they're nobodies. They're just there talking sports. They're nobodies, right? So they rarely take them seriously. So in The Odd Couple, essentially what was happening was they were reacting to this very exchange between Kevin Durant and these guys. And in the midst of doing that, they disrespected the creators and didn't even mention the guy's name, and then went on to say some other stuff that I absolutely disagree with. So what we want to do is want to play exactly what Chris Broussard had to say on the Odd Couple. And then we're going to come back and react to this comment. Take a listen to that.
Kevin Durant, as he is known to do, occasionally will just come out of nowhere and hop on social media and start dialoguing with the everyday man, the common folk. And I guess Friday night,
the people that clean your house. Yes, that's what we're talking about.
I pay well, man. I pay well. But KD got on Twitter Space, and there was actually a discussion, Ephraim, going on about, is Kevin Durant still a top 5 player in the NBA? And KD joined in. And here's one of the things he said.
I just think how y'all even look at the game is whack as playoff success. Like you factor in team success when you talking about players. I just think how y'all consume the game is trash. Like, are you good or not?
I agree. I agree.
I mean, some things could be that simple. Are you just good or not? I mean, a lot of people have seen it for a long time, brother, and it's okay. These lists don't really mean nothing anyway. So why are you getting so upset about them?
All right. Well, there you have it. And look, I think, Ephraim, a lot of people, when you discuss these types of things, who are the best 10 players of all time, who are the best 5 players in the league, the best 10 players, whatever it may be, winning does come into play. One of the arguments that many use for Michael Jordan is that he has 6 championships. He won 6 times, went 6 times, and won 6 times. But I always let people know that is just one aspect of the argument. It is not all about championships, or it'd be over. Bill Russell's it, period.
Yep.
It wouldn't even be a discussion.
The standard.
Right. I think LeBron James, who has 4 championships, is better than Kobe, who had 5. And there's, a lot of, we can get into this, but my point is just that
You just
that
start
is not
off disrespectful, but go ahead. Okay.
that is not the way. It's just not as simple as, who won the most. Like, that's a simplistic way of arguing it, and I don't know anybody that uses that argument, because I've heard very few people say Bill Russell's the GOAT. And so, but it is, when you talk about the top, the ultra elite, Ephraim, winning does come into play. And if Alex Caruso has 6 rings when he retires, no one's going to say he's better than Hakeem Olajuwon, who had 2. But
Right.
when you're talking about the ultra elite, one significant way that you can differentiate them is championships. It's not black and white. Like I said, I don't always go with the guy who has the most championships. But that is one factor. And in basketball, where there's only 5 players, if you're that good, then you can impact winning a lot more than you can in baseball and even in football. And so I do think that's why it comes into play. I think KD is being disingenuous when he says that don't even matter. It's just, can you play or not?
So you heard what they had to say. Now there's a gentleman there who's a former NFL player. I forgot his name. It's irrelevant right now. The same way I forgot his name is the same way he forgot the creator's name that they were referring. Now, here are my thoughts. I think that what they did was absolutely disrespectful. I think it was disrespectful, and I think it was wrong on so many levels. First of all, if you're going to source something, if you're going to reference something, say the place you got that information from. The least you can do is acknowledge the source. Whenever we create shows on this platform, we always say where we heard it from. We provide articles where you can go and read. We read the articles live. If we heard it from a channel, we say the channel. If we heard it from a show, we say the show. Give people their credit. If you heard it from somewhere, say where you heard it from and give them their credit. It's kind of like having a source, right? So I thought that was wrong. That's number one. Number two, the co-host there with Chris Broussard said something like, the peasants and the people that clean, the people that clean your house and all of this stuff. It seems like there's this kind of misconception out there. And I don't really know why this misconception exists. For whatever reason, and I don't know the reason, but for whatever reason, there's this perception out there that people that are on YouTube creating content must be living in huts, or maybe they're dirt poor, or they were broke before they got on YouTube, and therefore they're on YouTube to basically save their life, and these people have nothing going on in their lives, and these are just broke people. I think it's important that we dispel this myth quickly, because I think a lot of people that look down on independent creators somehow feel like they're more successful than them at life. Now, you may have a job on television, you may be getting paid a boatload amount of money on TV, but that does not mean that because you have that, it means you're more successful than the people that are on YouTube that you refuse to give credit to. That's a joke if you believe that. Number one, first of all, a lot of these guys were successful before they got on YouTube. were successful before they got on YouTube. That's the first. Patrick Bet-David was already worth hundreds of millions of dollars before he got on YouTube. There's another podcast by a British gentleman who sold a company for hundreds of millions of dollars. He interviews, I think, he interviews entrepreneurs. Marco told me about the channel. He was already ultra wealthy before he started a YouTube channel. There's so many creators that are not on YouTube here because they're begging you for money or begging you for bread. There are a lot of people that were millionaires before they came on YouTube. I think people need to check people's pedigree before you go online saying stupid stuff about, oh, this dude is a peasant and all of that. Like, check people's pedigree before you go out there and talk like that, because you're making a buffoon out of yourself. Like, don't get it twisted. Just because you're on TV, don't think that, oh, these guys, somehow we're richer than these guys. So if some of y'all are so richer than these guys, why are you doing what they're doing? Why are you doing what are you not trying to get to a bag? So why are you doing this? I thought you already well off. I thought you already got your bread. Why are you doing this? Why is Stephen A. Smith and all of these dudes running around trying to get different podcasts? Why are they doing that? Because they're trying to make money. So apparently what these dudes are doing is making money. So the thing about, oh, they're looking down, it just I think that's ridiculous talk. Half of the people that you're looking down on are they're wealthier than you. It's just that they don't talk about it. They didn't got to flaunt it to you. They didn't got to say nothing. They're quiet about it. So I thought that was very disrespectful. Number two, if you're going to hear something from somebody, give them their credit, man. Give them their credit. If you see somebody like Low, I don't know how many millions of views he has. I checked, he has like 60+ million, 7+ million views. Those views are not like, they're not artificial. Those are real people that watch. There was real money made there. And I got more respect for independent creators because they're doing it on their own. They're doing it off of the strength of their own hard work. Half of these dudes that you see on TV, I'm not talking about Chris Broussard, half of these dudes that you see on TV, if they were not on TV and you told them, okay, go open up a YouTube channel, go start your own platform, nobody would watch these dudes. Nobody would watch these dudes. Nobody. If you see somebody with 100,000 subscribers and they got less than 20 million views, that is not because your content is hot, my boy. It is not. You're getting a push because you work on a big platform. So be talking down to these people that actually go through the process and go through the grind and act like as if these dudes just don't exist. And then to assume that all of them are broke is a joke. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? You think everybody on YouTube is broke? That's what y'all really believe? No, really, y'all really believe that?